In 1914, the world erupted in war, yet across the Atlantic, the United States stood watchful but silent. But beneath the surface, forces were at work that would pull America into the deadliest conflict the world had ever seen. The question, why did a nation so determined to stay neutral, take up arms, and what did it mean for the world forever? The nation was divided. Many sympathized with the Allies, others favored the Central Powers, while isolationist voices urged caution. The US economy, however, was already tied to the Allies through massive loans and exports of food, weapons, and materials. Still, the American public and government were reluctant to join a foreign war, watching how the conflict ground on with staggering carnage and stalemate trenches. Wilson hoped the US could act as a moral beacon, offering mediation without violence. But beneath the surface, currents were shifting. Germany's submarine warfare threatened American ships and lives, sowing doubt about neutrality, as ocean liner after ocean liner vanished beneath torpedo strikes, like the tragic sinking of the Lusitania in 1915 that killed 128 Americans. The question loomed, could the US really stay out forever? Rehook. But even as outrage simmered, another secret message from Berlin was about to force America's hand. In early 1917, a secret German telegram destined for Mexico was intercepted by British intelligence. The message, later known as the Zimmermann telegram, offered Mexico an alliance against the United States if America entered the war. Germany promised to help Mexico reclaim lost territories like Texas and Arizona. The revelation shocked the American public and inflamed calls for action. Simultaneously, Germany resumed unrestricted submarine warfare, sinking merchant vessels without warning, including American ships. The attacks brought American lives and commerce directly into the line of fire. President Wilson faced mounting pressure. Neutrality had become untenable in the face of such provocations. In speeches, he framed the war as a fight not just against German aggression, but for democracy itself. By April 1917, with the US Congress's declaration of war, America took the decisive step into the global conflict. America's entry was a turning point, but the war itself was far from over, and the challenges ahead were daunting. America's entry into World War I transformed the conflict. The United States rapidly mobilized its economy and society for total war. Millions enlisted, training in camps that stretched across the nation. Factories churned out weapons, ammunition, and supplies at staggering rates, shipping them across the Atlantic in convoys guarded against U-boat attacks. The American Expeditionary Forces, led by General John J. Pershing, arrived in Europe in full force by Line 18 fresh. Troops and vital supplies injected new energy into the exhausted Allied lines, breaking the years-long stalemate. Yet the challenges were immense, coordinating multinational operations, overcoming logistical nightmares, and integrating a mass military for the first time in modern American history. The war demanded sacrifice from civilians and soldiers alike, reshaping the nation's identity. But the victory came at great cost, and the war's end marked the beginning of an uncertain peace. When the guns finally fell silent in November 1918, the cost was staggering. Over 116,000 American soldiers died, with countless more wounded. Millions across Europe were lost or displaced. The war altered societies and economies, with reverberations felt worldwide. Politically, the war's end redrew national borders and set the stage for future conflicts. The Treaty of Versailles, which formally ended the war, imposed harsh terms on Germany, sowing resentment and instability. In the US, the post-war era sparked social and political upheaval. Women's suffrage surged forward, racial tensions heightened, and fears of communist revolution known as the Red Scare took hold. America emerged as a new global power, but also a nation grappling with its role on the world stage. How did the lessons of World War I shape the America that followed? The answers run deep. World War I was a watershed moment, marking America's transition from relative isolation to major world actor. The war demonstrated the importance of military preparedness, international alliances, and technological innovation. Beyond the battlefield, the conflict seeded profound changes in American society, expanding democracy, accelerating industrial growth, and inspiring new ideas about the nation's responsibilities abroad. But the war's failure to create lasting peace, combined with the traumatic memories of loss, made many Americans wary of future involvement in overseas conflicts. This ambivalence would influence US foreign policy for decades. The echoes of World War I resonate even today, reminding us why this pivotal moment changed everything. Rehook. From the trenches to the home front. This was the war that forged modern America. More than a century later, America's decision to enter World War I remains one of the most consequential moments in history. It marked the rise of the US as a global power, committed to shaping international order. The ideals, sacrifices, and challenges of that time continue to inform debates about war, peace, and leadership. Studying why the US entered World War I helps us understand not only the past, but the ongoing struggle to balance national interests with global responsibility. It is a story of courage, transformation, and enduring complexity, one worth remembering as we face the challenges of our own era. The world was never the same after 1917, and neither was America. What lessons from this hidden chapter of history can guide us today?